Hey, welcome back, folks. Today I want to talk about something that it kind of goes along with my last video. I want to talk about biting, because I think I could do an entire video just on that topic, because it's a common problem. Well, one of many. There's a lot of common problems actually, but biting is one of them. And well, one of my first questions when somebody talks about their horse biting them is, well, what was its mouth doing that close to you in the first place? Because there's a bit of a problem right there that goes right along with my last video where I talked about preventing problems. There we go. And well, this guy's here because he's a biter. Now, I talked about preventing problems, talked about being firm, things like that. I also talk about preventing accidents too, and it's not much different. The mentality is the same. Is you're going to deal with whatever is occurring before it turns into something a little more serious. You know, the biting thing is much the same. He can't bite you if his mouth isn't near you. And like I said, I often ask people when they complain about a horse biting, is, well, what was his mouth doing that close? Now, before I go into this a little more, I'm going to say that I don't care how good you are. There is a possibility that horse can whip its head around or lunge forward at you or whatever and bite faster than you can even realize it's happening. So it still can happen. But however, it's like I've said, never mind the what, look at the why. Okay, we need to correct him now immediately. Good boy. Actually, I'd like it if you were a little further over there. Oh, good man, good boy. You know, it's like I've said in another video, never mind the what, figure out the why. Because biting can occur for several different reasons. And in his particular case, I might be all three, actually. I think it is, actually. One of them is a problem that is very common with young males. Now, he happens to be a 3-year-old gelding, so that is immediately part of the age and gender. That has a lot to do with it. In his case, that's part of the problem. That's one of the problems. The other one is, you know, and there's just a theory on this one, is that they do it out of frustration, boredom, things like that, because one of the things, he likes to chew on just about everything, but that's also part of the young male, is that's how they explore the world, not unlike a toddler. You know, young children, you know how everything goes in their mouth. That's how they explore the world. Well, young males with horses, that tends to be what they do too. So part of it is just, he's just being him. That's what geldings do. Back up, sir. Thank you. But part of it is when he gets frustrated or bored, he may chew because he doesn't know what else to do. And that gives him a little solace of some kind. So, that could be part of the problem, because one of the things that he does do is he'll chew on his lead or other objects. So that's you know, not surprising actually. Another one is that they'll do it to intimidate you. I don't like where he is. He can get back over there a little bit. Oh, the other way. Get over there. Good boy. They try to intimidate you. And in some cases, they feel the need to defend themselves, and they will actually bite out of aggression, but it's not really aggression, it's defense. They're just trying to defend themselves. And particularly when they're on a lead or in a box stall, they can't run away from danger, do something to protect themselves because it's part of their instincts. They're simply trying to save their life. That's all they're doing. And today we're having all the same problems we usually have with them. So I'm not looking at you guys as much as I'd like to, because I've got to pay attention to the horse, because otherwise things could get bad. So we're concentrating on the horse, but I want to talk about this biting thing. And like I said, in his case, some of the reasons that he is biting will just go away. Some of them need to be addressed, and I'll talk about one of them. And it's, like I said in the beginning, it's what was that mouth doing close enough that they could bite. That's something that, particularly with the young males, is their curiosity and how they explore things using their mouth. A lot of people figure that he's just using his lips, he's nibbling on my sleeve or whatever, it's okay. No, it's not, because that nibble with the lips can very quickly turn to a bite faster than you can do anything about it. And so you can't let that part, like I say, what was that mouth doing that close in the first place? Back up, sir. Back up. Thank you. Good boy. So, and this is where you have to react quickly, because, like I said, the lips can turn into a real hard bite very quickly, much faster than you can do anything about it. So, what I like to do is I just kind of, I have a, and it depends on the horse too, because some it's not an issue. But I like this little imaginary line, well, this far out from my hand, and if that nose gets that close, the hand's going to meet his nose. And, but you'll find that, you'll notice he doesn't get his nose on me, because he knows better. So I think that, back up. I don't like you that close. You're too close. That's one of the things that I explained to his owner too, is when he got too close, I'd say, well, don't let him get that close. And they'd grab the bottom of his halter to back him up. Now, there's many, many ways you can back a horse up. But in his case, because he has a habit of biting, I'm not going to get my arm that close to his mouth. I'm going to use my flag to back him up. Because what would usually happen, what would frequently happen is as you put your hand on the bottom of the halter, as you put your hand on the bottom of the halter, he'd bring his head down, and the next thing you know, his mouth's on your arm. And that gives him the opportunity to bite. Now, he never did actually bite in that scenario, but the potential was there. He had his mouth on, the lips were moving. It was a simple case of, that was an option. That was an option for me to prevent the problem, was using the flag instead of using the halter. And that's one of the many things you can do. There's, I'm not going to list all the different scenarios. I'm just giving you an example of this one to prevent the biting. I'm not going to let the mouth get near me. And I'm going to do that by, because if I grab onto the bottom of the halter to back him up, which can be done, then he can very easily drop his head down, and the next thing you know, his mouth's on my arm, and that could lead to a bite. So, biting, like I said, there's several reasons that they do bite. You got to figure out not the what, but the why, and then you prevent it. Now, if he's biting out of aggression, because, well, that's what horses do with one another too, is, and it's not really a serious aggression, it's just get out of my space because they're the higher horse. And if that's happening, you got an entirely different problem than if you got a young gelding that's simply, exploring. So when it comes to the dominance thing, it's like, well, if you're being assertive enough and firm enough, which is something I talked about in the last video, far less chance you're going to get bit, because if you're not firm enough, that can cause biting too, because when you try doing something, the horse, as you say, take a hike, and that's exactly what one horse does to another, is if a lower horse does something undesirable in the mind of another horse, then the other horse is just going to simply turn around, give him a bite. I've seen it happen lots. It's a perfectly natural behavior, and they'll do it to you too. And believe me, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that one, because I know how hard a horse can bite. Many years ago, I did get bit once. It had nothing to do with training or anything like that. I was just walking by a horse that lunged out and bit me. And believe me, that hurt. And it was a valuable lesson, though. You don't want a bite to happen. So prevent them. Don't try and, but like I said, that exploratory nibble can turn into a bite very quickly before you can do anything about it. So the best thing to do is prevent the problem by simply not letting that mouth get near you. And this is not an absolute, though. Like I said, in the very beginning, is that head can whip around and bite you if you're grooming them or saddling them up or something. That head can whip around and bite you before you can do anything about it, or before you even know it's coming. Now, I don't like that. That's too close. See, I just did something before he had a chance to bite me. I got him to get his nose away. Now his nose is a considerable distance away from my hand. If it gets too close to my hand, he's going to get a bump in the nose. And you don't have to do it hard. Most cases, a single finger will do the job, just to keep the nose away, because that's just not a good habit for any horse to be doing. I only have one of my own 4 that I even allow that to happen, but that's just her nature. She's very affectionate, and she'll put her nose up against, the side of her nose actually, against my cheek, and she'll stand there all day and just is calmly and relaxed. There's no aggression. She doesn't even nibble or nothing. She just likes to cuddle. So every horse is different. That mouth's a little too close again, so we're going to do something about it. And as yet, I have not been bit by this horse. His owner preventing the scenario that can turn into a problem. The problem will never happen. And that's why I say, you know, back at the beginning, preventing problems is much easier than fixing problems. And never mind what, figure out why. The why is inevitably far more important, because it has to be dealt with differently. So there you go, just a short one on biting and how to prevent it. Again, I'm not going to talk about fixing problems. I'm going to talk about preventing problems, because it's a whole lot easier to prevent them than it is to try and fix them. I learned that lesson many years ago when I was working with dogs. It's always easier to prevent problems than fixing them. Have a good day.